Looking for a place where everyone in your family can thrive? The Jewish Community Center of Greater Albuquerque is your local hub for wellness, learning, and connection. Whether it's our state-of-the-art fitness center, early childhood programs, or vibrant cultural events, there's something for everyone. Everyone is welcome at the JCC. Join us and be part of a diverse community that supports your whole family's growth and happiness. Visit jccabq.org to learn more.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Good News Conversations here on the Albuquerque Journal Podcast Network. I'm your host, Gino, and before we dive into this week's episode, I want to remind you at home that if you enjoy the content here on the Albuquerque Journal Podcast Network, to be sure to like, share, and subscribe to support the local journalism that brings you the stories that matter to you. This week, I'm very pleased to be joined by Jessica Jaramillo-Salazar, who is the Director of Behavioral Health Services with Bernalillo County. Jessica, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And Jessica, before we dive into a couple of the stories we've done about the work you guys are doing over at the Care Campus and Behavioral Health Services, I was wondering if you could introduce yourself to our listeners and kind of describe what your role is at the county.
Sure. So, yes, my name is Jessica Jaramillo-Salazar. I am the Director for the Department of Behavioral Health Services. So I currently oversee the Care Campus, which is on 5901 Zuni. I've been with the department for a little over 10 years. If you include all of it, close to 13. And I started as a substance abuse tech. So I was boots on the ground, doing exactly, helping individuals come in, doing air takes. And I worked my way up, becoming a substance abuse tech lead, worked on my supervisory, then became the program supervisor, started working on operations. And before you know it, I'm in this role as the director. And it's been a great experience, that's for sure.
And I know we talked a little bit before we came up about, where paths in life took us. Mm-hmm. What drew you to this field and to this work?
I have a lot of family that are dealing with substance abuse issues, alcohol abuse. And so I've seen it firsthand. And since I wasn't able to I was too young to really understand and to really help, I wanted to be that individual to help other individuals. Like, I may not be in your shoes, but I've been that family member that's been hurt by substance abuse, by alcohol abuse, and I want to be able to help individuals.
Yeah, and you mentioned overseeing the Care Campus, the county's kind of one-stop shop for anybody who might be experiencing some issues with substance abuse, with addiction, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. I've visited it a couple times. I'm still amazed by all the suites of services you guys offer. And we've covered a couple of them in the good news stories that we've done. I want to start off with one that we actually did all the way back in July, when you guys actually won a national award for your peer living room program. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Yes, so it's pretty much a peer drop-in center. So any individual that's, needing assistance, needing someone to talk to, they could just come in. We are open 5 days a week, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. If they're needing help finding other resources, they're more than welcome to come and speak with a certified peer support worker. If they're needing to use a phone, needing to use the computer, or just need someone to talk to. A lot of our individuals, they are currently homeless. They don't really have many people they can talk to, and sometimes they just come in and just have a conversation. And we try to motivate them to seek other services, whether it'll be ours or other places. And of course, we allow their animals to come in, and so we've gotten really close to a lot of the dogs that come in. We just want to make it a safe place for individuals to come in to gain whatever, services or support that they need. And it's also for family members, if they have somebody, their family that are, using and they just don't know where to go, they're more than welcome to come and speak with a certified peer support to gain that support. Yeah,
and the amazing part about the certified peer support workers is they all have what you guys refer to as lived experience.
Mm-hmm,
these are individuals
absolutely.
that, struggle with addiction or struggle with substance abuse themselves. Mm-hmm. They're now on the other side having gotten services. And what struck me most, Jessica, about the conversations I had with them, there's never a push for services. There's just let me hear you out and let me tell you a little bit about what we can offer. Mm-hmm. And you've seen firsthand, why is that approach so successful?
Because them coming through our doors, they themselves don't know what they're wanting, or they're not very comfortable telling somebody that they don't know what help they're needing. And so it's important to build that rapport with them. Like, hey, how are you? Not pushing them, just kind of seeing where they're at, what they feel about support, or resources, and just getting to really know them, letting them know this is a safe place. You can trust me and I will, help you in whatever that you're needing. But it's important to build that rapport with them first.
Yeah, and that award that the program did win was the 2024 Achievement Award from the National Association of Counties. I know I asked you this question when we talked about it back in July, but I want to ask you again. I know when you heard about it, there was a lot of excitement amongst not just you, but amongst the staff as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think it's hard because it's a very hard job. We're dealing with people that have not only substance abuse, but also mental health. And it's a very hard population to work with. And so being able to recognize their hard work, their dedication that they have for these clients, it's important to show. It's important to show that what they do truly matters and it's appreciated.
And it really seemed like this was almost the first step most of the people took in order to seek services. Mm-hmm. Since you guys have introduced this program to what the Care Campus is doing, how integral is it to helping in these individuals access the services they need?
It's very simple. I mean, some of them come, they're not too sure if they want detox, so they'll come to the living room, kind of talk with the certified peer support workers, kind of motivate them, and then they're ready. Then we just walk them right back up. We, of course, let them know what the process is so that they're not blinded coming through like, oh, you didn't tell me about this. We let them know every step of the way of what they're going to be experiencing, what to expect, so that they have a good understanding when they walk through that door.
And it's, the first step for many. Another thing we covered is actually something that happened towards the beginning of this month of October. The Care Campus launched their young adult program. Mm-hmm. You guys had a ceremony out in your courtyard at the center. Can you tell our listeners a little bit, what is this young adult program and who are you guys hoping to help with it?
Sure. So a couple of years back, we have seen a slight increase of individuals barely turning 18 coming in through our detox. And we attempted to try to get them into our supportive aftercare, which is a 6-month transitional living. Mm-hmm. However, we noticed that they were struggling. They struggled with the high structure. They struggled the rules. And so they didn't fully complete the whole program. They were wanting something else right away. And so we're like, well, how can we help that particular individual, especially since there's so many coming in? Mm-hmm. And so we're like, well, let's figure out the young adult program. So it's specifically tailored for individuals 18 to 24. It's very similar to our supportive aftercare, but it's a little bit more lenient. So yes, it is structured, but it's very lenient. So, if you're not if you're just not in the mood to be in a program, then that's fine. But, the counselor may be just wanting to talk to you to kind of see where you're at, how you're feeling. But of course, we do community reinforcement approach through Cerna Solutions, which is tailored to them. We also do smart recovery because not everything, is tailored for one individual. So we want to make it a variety of services for everybody. And, of course, we have some fun in there. So they do go to the community centers with our supportive aftercare clients to do some wood burning, some, other activities to kind of get out there to know that it's fun to have, it's fun to be sober.
Mm-hmm. And I'm curious if you could walk us through a little bit about, what entails the program. I know it's a 45-day stay, mm-hmm. But what are they doing during the course of that 45 days? You detailed a little bit of it, but as far as, community care, things of that nature, when they walk into the center, what can they expect?
So when they first walk into the center, of course, they're given a brief tour of what the whole facility looks like. They speak with one of our counselors to kind of be tailored to like what is it that you're looking for while you're here. Mm-hmm. And so every client is going to be different. It is a case-by-case basis and in what their needs are. We have one client who just recently discharged successfully and she wanted to find a job. And so they helped her find a job. And then we have a couple of them that are actually excited about the program that they're actually looking into our supportive aftercare. But of course, we have a time for them to wake up. We don't expect them to wake up at that time. We know young kids, they don't wake up early.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even like waking up early.
Me neither.
Most of the time,
so we understood that.
Yeah.
And it's it's kind of a community group, and so they all come in the morning, kind of say, you know, how was their night? Did they sleep well? What did they look forward to during the day? And then we start into some programming. You know, it may be reading, so there's a specific book that they may be reading, and then they kind of talk about it with the counselor. They do have one-on-one sessions with the counseling just to make sure that everyone is doing okay.
Yeah.
And then we have acupuncture that comes through a couple times a week. So if they want acupuncture, they're more than welcome to attend that. We also do trauma-informed yoga. So she does come a couple times out of the week to do an hour session. We also do, like I mentioned, Santa Fe Mountain Center. So sometimes they will get to go up to Santa Fe and do some trailing, some teamwork, team bonding. And, of course, our Parks and Rec has been phenomenal. So they take our clients twice a week to, you know, word burning. I think soon they'll be going to a Lobo game. So they get to do those special events with them, and is trying to get them integrated back into the community, kind of focused on, you know, they still have a full life ahead of them. And so it's important to let them know that there's that support. We're also attempting to implement family therapy. So a lot of them have burned those bridges with their family. And so we thought it would be beneficial to bring their families in to be able to rebuild those connections.
But Jessica, I'm curious, we talked a little bit before the interview. Why is this particular age group so important for the county to target?
Well, they're difficult. You know, a lot of them come through, you know, they're aging out of foster care. They've been in families that are dealing with their own substance abuse, and they've never had that support. They don't like to listen. You know, they feel like they've never been heard. They feel like they've never been supported. And so being able to tailor and have the patience and the empathy for them, it takes a lot of work. You know, it takes a lot of a lot of time to even mention about programming for them. You know, a lot of them came through our living room multiple times, even encouraging them to come. And it took maybe that 50th time coming through when they finally decided. And it's hearing them out. You know, you don't know what they've been through. There may be some trauma in their life that they have been through. And it's important to hear them and hear what they're wanting and hear pretty much what services are they wanting.
And I know for you, this work is very important. But I'm curious, you know, you've been with the county for 13 years. You mentioned you've been around this work for a long time. What's been the most impactful thing for you personally, being around and helping the community?
Just seeing how much we have expanded. So when I first started, it was just supportive aftercare and detox. And now, I mean, there's maybe about 5 different programs on our campus. And I think the most important thing is teaching our staff to be trauma informed.
Yeah.
That's been the biggest thing. You know, we have a lot of individuals that have come from the jail setting, and so we've had to kind of help them get away from that. You know, these individuals are not in jail. These individuals are here voluntarily. They're wanting the help.
Yeah.
And it's understanding that, yes, they may have some behavioral issues, but you need to know where they've come from too and what they've been through. So it's been very important. My whole time there is being trauma informed.
And last question for you, Jessica, for any listeners that are listening to this podcast that may have a loved one that's going through issues or may be going through issues themselves, and they hear about these services and they want to give them a try, how do they go about getting in contact with the care campus?
So they could come directly in. We are open 24 hours. So if it's late in the night, they're not too sure, they could come through our front door. It's a big sign that says entrance, and they could talk to somebody. Or if it's during the day, they could come through our living room and talk with one of our certified peer support workers. We don't turn anybody away. They come through our door, whether it's our services or if they're needing another services, we will direct them where they need to go. They could contact us by phone, 505-468-1556, or behavioral health services at burnco.gov.
Fantastic. The Peer Living Room and the Young Adult Program, just two examples of how the Care Campus is looking after some of the most vulnerable populations here in Bernalillo County. Jessica, thank you so much for stopping by and spending some time with me and letting our listeners know a little bit about what the county's doing on the behavioral health services side. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. You can find this episode and all our podcasts on the Albuquerque Journal website, abqjournal.com, as well as on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud. If you enjoy our podcasts, please like and subscribe, and consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Albuquerque Journal to help us continue to bring you more content like this. See the show notes for a discount on a digital subscription. Thank you for supporting the Albuquerque Journal, New Mexico's leading local news source.